After our wedding, my wife insisted I meet her family in their old hometown. I was excited, but nervous. When we arrived, everything felt welcoming, until her father saw me. He froze, his face drained of color. Then he whispered words that still haunt me. "You shouldn't be here." And from that moment, nothing about my life or my marriage felt the same again. It was a cold Sunday morning when we reached Aisha's childhood home, an old house surrounded by trees that seemed to whisper forgotten stories. Her mother welcomed us with open arms, but her father stood still, as if time itself had stopped. He stared at me in disbelief, eyes trembling with fear and confusion. I smiled politely, extending my hand, but he didn't take it. Instead, he whispered, "It can't be," before walking away. The air around me grew heavy. Aisha laughed, nervously saying, "He's just surprised to see someone new at home." But her tone carried unease. That evening, while everyone sat for dinner, her father barely spoke. He just kept glancing at me between bites, his hands shaking every time I met his eyes. Later, I overheard him talking to his wife in the next room. He looks exactly like him, down to the scar. I couldn't sleep that night. I didn't know who him was, but I knew I had just stepped into something much deeper than family tension. The next morning, Aisha went to the market with her mother. I stayed behind to help her father fix a broken light in the hallway. As I waited, I noticed an old family portrait hanging crooked on the wall. There were 4 people: Aisha, her parents, and a young man standing right beside her. My breath caught in my throat. The man in the photo looked exactly like me. Same face, same eyes. Even the small scar under his chin, identical. Under the frame it said, "Arif, beloved son, gone too soon." I stepped back, heart pounding. Her father appeared behind me quietly, his face pale as chalk. "You found it," he said softly. "Now you understand." He told me Arif was his only son, who died 10 years ago in a tragic car accident on the very road we had traveled to reach the house. I couldn't speak. My mind swirled. How could I look exactly like a man who died before I even met Aisha? Her father's eyes filled with tears as he whispered, "Maybe some souls don't rest until they find their way back home." That night I confronted Aisha. She went silent, tears streaming down her face. "Yes," she said softly. "Arif was my fiancé. We were supposed to marry the week he died." I stood frozen. "And you never told me?" She shook her head, trembling. "I tried to move on, but when I met you, I saw him in your eyes. The same kindness, the same voice. I thought it was just fate's strange trick." I walked out into the night air, heart racing. I remembered dreams I'd had, a winding road, a car crash, someone calling the name Aisha, before everything turned dark. Were they just dreams? Or memories? Her father found me outside and said quietly, "You may not be Arif, but there's something in you that carries him. Maybe the soul remembers what the mind forgets." For the first time in my life, I didn't know who I really was. Before leaving the next morning, I stood near Arif's grave behind the house. The wind blew softly, carrying the faint scent of roses. I whispered, "If you can hear me, I'll take care of them. I promise." When I turned, Aisha was standing there. She held my hand tightly and said, "Maybe God didn't return you to me as Arif, but as the love that never got a chance to live." Her father, watching from the doorway, finally smiled. "You were right," he said. "Some souls do find their way back." As we drove away, I looked in the rearview mirror, and for a split second I thought I saw another reflection sitting beside me, smiling. Maybe it was just my imagination. Or maybe, somewhere deep inside, Arif had finally come home. Sometimes, love doesn't end with death. It just waits for the right body, the right moment, and the right heart to return.